Hey, it's Amy Green with Amy and Art Designs. Come on in and say hi. I'm so excited to be here with y'all. We are going to be working on I'm going to show you how to make a really cute ornament or car charm using the autism awareness kits in my shop. It is Autism Awareness Month, and as a lot of you guys know, we have an autistic kiddo, and we just love him to pieces. And I think that it's so important to take time this month to honor and celebrate all of the people in our lives who have autism and who are affected by autism. So I thought it would be fun to put together a DIY Hi Kim where we could do this. I'm going to drop a link to this kit right here so people have it. And then let's get started. I miss you guys. I feel like it's been forever since we've crafted live between the eclipse on Monday and then last Wednesday. I don't remember. I'm just gonna grab a drink of my Java while everybody comes in and gets settled. Say hi and let me know where you're watching from. So if you comment, I've got the link there. So let me just add my extra screen so you guys can see what we're going to do. Let me see. I'm going to add this. There we go. I'm going to add it to the stage and we'll say hi to everybody while we're looking at this. I need to turn my camera. So, okay. Let me see if I can get it in the screen. So we have two. Let me show you what we're going to do and then we'll say hi. I didn't start my gift away. Let me get that started. Okay. All the grace for me today. My brain is just... Okay. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to do something a little different. I'm going to gift, if you have someone in your life that you know that would appreciate having one of these finished charms or ornaments to use either on their tree or in their car, I'm going to mail the finished ones to two people today. So if you, let's see. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. So you just let me know. We'll figure that out because I don't know if we're going to gift these away somehow. I'll probably gift something different today and then I'm going to do something different to gift these, but I do plan on gifting these. I'm going to mail them to whoever wants, however we gift them out, someone will get them and then you can give them to the person because I don't want you to give me someone's information because it would just feel off. But let's say hi to everybody. Kim's here. Renee's here. Christina. Hey, Christina. Hi, Tony. I'm a little spacey today. Hey, Gail. Oh, Christina. She hopes to be back and painting soon. So exciting. Yay. I hope so too, girl. Juanita. Hey, Juanita. Hi, Colleen. Hey, Linda. Thank you for the sprinkles, Colleen. Renee was watching videos for this month's Joyful Crafting Club tray. That is so fun. Juanita says she loves these. I do too. I do too. Gail says your heart's beating. You lost a check. Oh my gosh. Find the check, Gail. Find the check. Oh, your neighbor would love them. Yes. So, yeah. So that's what we can do today is we have a lot of people in our community who are impacted by autism in one way or another, either a grandchild, a child, a neighbor, a family member, or we have people who we have a lot of people in our community who teach kids that have special needs. And as y'all know, hey, Cinda, hey, Dixie, that it has a huge impact on your life. And we'll talk about that while I'm painting. So when you get this in my shop, you get either one, you get to pick one of these. It comes with a yarn needle. It comes with a 24-inch piece of jute, which is long for an ornament, but probably perfect for a card charm. 2 20-millimeter beads because we're going to bling it out a little bit, and then a piece of a puzzle piece ribbon. So the kids have different ribbon in them depending on what we ran out of. We've already run out of the ribbon, so we had to order more, and this is what we were able to get. But I'm going to show you how to do it. No matter what ribbon you have, I'm going to show you how you can make this, okay? But let's paint them first. I'm going to go with a combo of natural wood and color on both of them, okay? So I'm going to move this out of the way because I'm just going to sand this down and it's going to be natural. And then I have the puzzle pieces. This middle part is going to be natural. My camera looks blurry. Does anybody else feel that way, that the camera's looking blurry this morning? Let me just grab something to see if I can fix that. Okay. Thank you. So yeah, we have, I'm just going to see if I can clean this. Sorry. Oh, help us. Here we go. Let's see if this is better. Yes. Okay. So it was just dirty. All right. This is much better. So let's talk about this. The little puzzle piece is a heart in the middle that says neurodiversity is beautiful. And so with these little score lines here, what I like to do is, if it looks a little bit char-y where, and the wood, it's got to be like if it's just a little off, it can have those little char marks. So I'm just going to sand this lightly with 320 grit, and then I'll set it to the side. I'm going to take a tack cloth. This is the tack cloth. Yeah, it does look clearer, doesn't it? But you guys all know we've got a kiddo that has autism, and it does impact your life in a big way. So this month, every kit that's sold, we're going to donate $2 to, we're going to take $2 out of that. And then Joe and I are personally going to match that $2. So if we sell 100, we'll have $200. And then Joe and I will personally match $200, and we'll be able to donate $400 to the Autism Society of Central Ohio. And I chose them just because they're local. I know they do good work. They do, they support a lot of Ohio families, and they provide activities for kids, for families. And when you have a kid who struggles, let me tell you, it is a breath of fresh air when you're able to be around other people who are like, I get it. You don't have to explain it to me. I get it. Okay. So let's paint the puzzle piece one first. I'm going to lift this up a little bit so we can see. I'm going to use the colors in the ribbon. I'm going to use a blue. Can you guys believe I do not have like a cobalt blue, just a normal blue paint? Like, it's just wrong that I don't. So I'm going to use my paint marker. I'm going to use light blue, yellow, and red. Okay, are the 4 colors I'm going to use. So let me get my blue tape for these pieces. Yeah, you know what? It's a great cause. They do a lot of things. They have, they'll like rent out pools. They'll have bowling. We've never been to one of their events, but like once a month they have a lawyer who will conference with families. You get, it's a small time slot, but when like a special needs lawyer, okay, this is going to be blue. My heart, I'm going to do in red. And then I'm going to do like one dark blue puzzle piece. Okay. So I'm just going to do them both at the same time. But they'll do, because when you have a kid with special needs, the reason that you need a lawyer is to consult with them about long-term financial planning. If anyone's watching who has a kid with special needs, you know the stress of long-term financial planning for that child, because depending on the severity of their special needs and whether or not they're able to, like, one, ever hold a job, or two, if they can hold a job, do they have the ability to, like, understand how to budget and plan for money? Will they ever be able to even make enough money to, like, provide for themselves so they could actually cover rent and groceries and medical and all of the things? Like, there's just so many things you have to take into account. And they help with some of that. Cappuccino. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm just taking this paint marker. This is a Pintar, Pintar. It's kind of like a Posca knockoff. But it does work really well. I'm just painting, and you're just with a paint marker. If you've never used one, guys, we're just kind of coloring like you would with marker. Thank you for the sprinkles, Kim. And so there's a lot to take into consideration. And they have lawyers who specialize in those things. So there are a lot of pieces, but I will tell you that being Nate's mom is probably the biggest joy of my life, because when you see him do something that everybody said he wasn't going to do, like he's made the honor roll 3 times in a year, or three times every time this year. I'm going to move these to the side. Every quarter this year, you know what? You're like, guess what? He did it, you know? So, okay, I'm just thinking through the way I want my puzzle pieces to go. I have painted these before. I just can't remember what order I painted them in. But yeah, we can gift these to somebody who would like to gift them to someone or to use them for themselves. So, dark blue, it's going to be red. And so I am going to do light blue. We'll do dark blue, red. No, dark blue, light blue, red, yellow. Let's do red. Okay, red. All right, for this, I'm just going to use lipstick red. Tammy says a little guy she had that has autism is thriving. It's well, there's so many things, and if you haven't lived through with it, it's hard to really understand and get your head around, because there's so many things that we just don't do because it would be, or we say no to because it would be too much for Nate. Sometimes if we have too much in one weekend, sometimes if the change is too quick, you know, like we had a really hectic weekend. So we had Easter last weekend, and we had a really hectic weekend this past weekend. And my extended family had Easter this past weekend, because that's just when they all could get together. But we didn't go because it was just too much. Like, sometimes you look at your life and you're like, look, I can only do what I can do, you know, and I can't pile on all of the extras. Like, and even if, you know, there's just, you get to where you learn, I cannot do all of the things, and also make sure that our home life is as good as it can be. Look at all these people. Look, there are so many people who have, you know, some connection to someone who has autism. Juanita's cousin's daughter is autistic. Michelle's niece is autistic. Oh, you know what I did? I didn't want to paint this puzzle piece red. I was going to paint the heart red. So I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to paint it another color. There, you just got a little trick. I'm going to paint the heart red. I'm over here talking away and forgot I wasn't supposed to paint that red. I'll just flip it over and paint the other side. Linda said she worked with the special needs kids and it warmed your heart. Yes. Yes. And like Nate Nate also has childhood apraxia of speech, and so he had to learn to talk. And Joe and I often say that, like, so many people take so many things for granted, but when you are not born with the ability to talk and you have to learn how to talk, it makes you, and now he can talk really well because he gets mad and tells me how dumb I am and what, like kids do, like, God, Mom, you just don't get anything to you. I just don't even want to live here. I'm like, well, yeah, I remember a day when you couldn't talk at all, and I'm pretty proud. I wanted to say, Michelle said her niece is autistic and she got a 32 on her ACT. That is amazing. Yeah, sometimes the challenges are just, they're different, right? It's like navigating the social situations, navigating big change. Because it's almost like the way that Nate relates to the world is not the way that you and I do. He doesn't read body language well. He understands things. His brain understands the world differently than mine does, and the way most people do. And so, okay, that's all I'm doing. And I am going to move this over, and I'm going to paint this. Let's see, a different. And so, yes, they have to really learn the situations and think through, like, what is like the appropriate reaction or what's really going on here, because he doesn't pick up on body language like maybe other people will. Michelle says your niece doesn't like social events. No, Nate is very social. He's very, very social. I think it's one of the reasons why they missed the autism diagnosis early on. The other thing was probably the apraxia, if we're being honest about it. I'm going to sand this. And apraxia and autism look very much alike in a lot of ways. Apraxic kids also have trouble reading body language a lot of times, but that's more because they're thinking so hard about how to put the words together and what to say that they're not really paying attention to everything else, right? And so they don't ever really learn to that piece where you and I can just talk naturally and I can observe everything you're doing while I'm having a conversation. Imagine if you're doing something that's really, really hard for you. Like, let's say that you're learning to draw. If you can't draw, you're learning to draw like a German Shepherd. And while you're learning to draw a German Shepherd and how to put all those lines in place, you're also required to like watch another person talk and figure out how they're feeling and what they're thinking and how to interact with them. It's kind of like what it is when you have apraxia. That mental load is so high. And so some of the things where maybe, if he didn't have apraxia, we might have got that diagnosis earlier. So Nate's very social, but it's still hard for him to always know what's going on. Nate was 9 when he was diagnosed, 9.5. And we took him in Texas and they were like, yeah, no, he's not autistic. This is the apraxia. But when he got to that age where, his social skills were not that of his peers, it was a little more obvious, it was hard on me and Joe. We were like, really, one more thing. You want to add one more thing to the list? We were like, no. It took us about a year, I think, to really process that and come to like an acceptance, if you will. It was hard on both of us. We'd already been through so much with him, and you just don't want one more thing for your kid, right? Juanita asked how much these kits are. $12. So it's just a really like he's a person with feelings and all of the things too, and I think that's where, because you see like other people who maybe, and other kids who are confused about like, wait, how do I interact with him and what do I say? Or you see people maybe not include him because, he's different, and we have been excluded from a lot of things. I don't talk about it a lot, but we've been excluded from a lot of things. And you just learn who your people are. You find your people and you stick with them, and you realize that those people who maybe can't accept, can't deal, they're just, it's really not, they're not your people. So we had taken Nate a lot of places and had him, checked for autism, or tested for autism. And he just did not, they changed the DSM, which is, if you don't know what the DSM is, it's like the medical has all of the like criteria for certain conditions. And they changed that a little while ago. It hasn't been too long. And it was revised, and that's when they included some of the things that let Nate meet criteria, right? You know what? I don't think people talk about it enough. Like it's you don't get invited, and it's okay. And I think people take the, hey, we can't come. Sometimes they don't understand. Like, I'm not saying we can't come because we don't want to, but I'm saying like, I can't add one more thing to our schedule. Like this week, maybe next time we can add something. And, it's also, but it's just, this is just, honestly, it's probably, our experience is probably not a lot different than a lot of other people's, because sometimes it's hard. And Nate is not, I'm just grabbing a different color yellow. That isn't dark enough, I don't think. Nate is, maybe it is. Nate is, if you see Nate in a crowd of people, he's not, if you see him out playing, you don't, it's not super obvious, that's what's going on with him. It's not super obvious. Like, this is okay. He looks pretty, but he has an amazing teacher, and he has an amazing Boy Scout troop. He loves his Boy Scouts, and we have a really great team of doctors and support people, and it's been it's really been good. But I guarantee that we are not the only people that have, anyone who has a kid with special needs, people just don't understand, They don't understand, and they don't know how to relate and interact, or they're, like the big events that someone was saying, Michelle was saying that her niece doesn't like to go to the big events. We try not to stay that long when we go, because it gets to be too much for him, and people don't understand that, Christmas is a hard one. Like Christmas, like the stress around the holidays, right? Because he's so excited, but he's also so stressed out. There's so much going on during the holidays, right? I'm gonna let these dry while I work on these wood pieces, guys. There's so much going on during the holidays, right? It's overwhelming for any child. They've spent all this time trying to be good to make sure that they get presents, and then people want to have like 13 events in 2 days. I'm like, no. Like, I want to enjoy Christmas. I am not gonna. So we stay home at Christmas. We don't go anywhere, and it's actually really nice. And we would love to have people come up and visit and hang out, but we do not go because it's too much for our family, for them to go team places and like, come get up, do Christmas. Now, 2 hours later, we got to get dressed and change and go, and we have to be somewhere else with all of these people, and it's loud and it's busy, and then he's upset, and so he doesn't enjoy Christmas, and then the whole family is, and it impacts my other kids too, right? Because if they come home and like Nate is just so stressed out that he really can't function. Now, if you have a piece like this on the back, we're just going to sand this right off. This is just, Colleen says you guys stay home too. Yeah, like sometimes it's just too much, and to do it all in one day, and so you just make choices based on what works for your family. And it's not because we don't want to be a part of it, it's because it's going to make things really, really hard, and it's just not a great fit on that day. It's just too much. But Ohio is really a great place for, sorry, my table's shaking a little bit. Hey, Jimmy. No, I think too, though, like there's a lot of families I've talked to who are in the same boat as ours. Like they just, and I do think that there's like, if you don't live with it, it's hard to understand. You know what I mean? Because you think, well, I don't understand how that's too much. Hey, Jennifer. I got a notice that my sign is coming today. I'm in Jennifer's Sign Maker Society, and it's my first month. And I can't wait to get my sign. Tony says she's loving the colors I'm using. These are just the autism awareness colors, Tony. I just pulled them right off the ribbon. I have a couple different types of ribbon based on just what I could get my hands on. Oh, Jennifer's also in the Joyful Crafting Club. She's been in the Joyful Crafting Club for much longer than, every time I said I'm going to join the Sign Maker Society, she'd be like, you don't have time. You just don't, you're never going to have time. And so I wouldn't do it. And then one day I just joined without telling her. So we do have something really fun planned for you in May, you guys. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting. Gail said when your daughter was younger, she'd say she needed therapy too. And Gail would say, you're okay. And she would say, yeah, he bothers me. I know it affects the whole family. I mean, and look, let's just be real honest about it. It impacts marriages, and people don't talk about it enough. The stress that it brings on a marriage. And Joe and I, early on when Nate was really little, it was a lot more stressful than it is now. Joe and I have really, and that was more like we were still finding out all the things, and we didn't know what to do. We didn't know how to help him. Now, I mean, we don't go on dates as much as we'd like to. What we try and go out to lunch once a month, but like getting a babysitter, you guys, it's just like we have no one to babysit the kids. So we have worked around that, but it's hard on marriages too. I mean, because like we don't always have the opportunity to just kind of like drop the kids off at somewhere and take off. Like people would always take their kids to like the elementary school like night where you could like leave your kids. We're gonna sand this one too. Leave all of your kids and they could hang out at the elementary school. And we're like, yeah, no. We'll get a call in like 10 minutes that we've got to come back. Christina says her 4-year-old nephew needs mini breaks when he's overwhelmed. Okay. If he's 4-year-old and he's able to do that, that's amazing. Nate always knew. He's always been really good. We're going to seal this. That's why I'm sanding the heck out of it. Nate's always been really good at like getting the sensory breaks he needs. And so one of the things he would do is swing a lot. Like when we were in Texas, we had a swing set. He'd be out there swinging. He has a hammock in his bedroom. He goes up and swings in his hammock. We have hammocks in the backyard. And in fact, one of the neighbors said to Joe, like, do you need the hammocks like up all year round? Like, can't you take them down? Like, we were like, yeah, no, the hammocks do not come down. And so he does, and he'll tell you, like, and that's why we built the swimming pool, you guys. We built the swimming pool because the child needs to swim. And I'm grateful we could do it. But we also have a year-round membership at our local rec center solely because Joe and I wish I could say we went and worked out, but we don't. Solely to so we can use the indoor pool because he needs to go swimming. He'll tell you, I've got to go swimming. I've got to go swimming. And it's like and if you can teach a kiddo, if they're able to advocate for those sensory needs, it's so important because if their little bodies are dysregulated, like nothing else is going to work right. Nothing else. And you know what? I still sometimes miss it. Like he'll be saying, I have to go swimming tonight, Mom. And I'd be like, yeah, we don't have time to go swimming. There's no time to go swimming. We got to do this, this, and this. And then in 20 minutes, he's crying. And then I look at Joe. I'm like, Joe, I don't have time to go swimming. And then a few minutes later, Joan will be like, oh my gosh. Okay. Nate, we are so sorry. We're switching gears. We're going swimming. Someone's taking you swimming. Like it is so, but he knows and he can tell us, hey, I really need to go get in the pool. You know, I've got to, and that just resets his little body. You know, so if you've got a young 4-year-old who can advocate for himself and say, look, I need some time, like that is awesome. I mean, I wish I knew. Guess what? I am stressed out. I need a break. I'm taking a break up in the bedroom and I am going to just like read a book or sit quietly, right? Like we can all take a page out of that book, you know? Okay. We're almost there. I just want this to be really nice and smooth. Well, Juanita, as soon as we're able to open the pool, hopefully soon. It has been cold here, but hopefully soon we'll be able to open the pool and he will be able to swim whenever he wants. He told us he's going to cannonbomb. He's like, I'm just going to cannonbomb right away. Gail says that the divorce rate is higher with kids with special needs. Yeah, it is. And Jennifer from Canvas Sign Designs. If you're not following her, guys, go give her a follow. She's awesome. She will teach you to paint and hand letter, paint signs and hand letter. Beautiful, like fancy painting. Just learning to cope and self-soothe is huge. Yes. I mean, for all kids, but especially like, I mean, it just is. And finding that really wonderful. I know, Jennifer, I missed your live yesterday. Jennifer does her lives Tuesday. Jennifer, is it 10 a.m. your time, 11 a.m. Eastern? Is that what it is? Or is it 11? I think it's 10 a.m. your time, 11 my time. I missed yours. I was video recording. Tammy, will definitely pray for your granddaughter. And that she heals up quickly. Jimmy says she needs her alone time and her Bible embroidery. Yes. Okay. I bought that kit and I've got to finish my carrot kit that I got from the Ginger Quilter, my friend Natalie Pratt. Yes. I've been wanting to pick up needle art again, just as something I can carry and do and like occupy my brain and like not have to think about, you know, just something that I don't do for a living, right? Somebody else can teach me what to do. Jennifer, do you ever feel like that? Like I just want someone else to teach me what to craft. Dixie says the siblings are affected too, and it's important that they understand what's going on. Yes. It is. We had a big talk with our two youngest ones recently again. We talk about it often, but they just, a lot of times they feel like he gets more. Nate gets more, right? And we're like, well, I mean, he probably does honestly take more of our attention because he just needs more. And, you know, and I just feel like that's a hard thing to explain to an 8-year-old. There was a program at their elementary school that was called Super Sibs, and Luke got to do it for a while. And they're not running it now, but it was so good to help siblings of kids with special needs. Christina, I will post all the colors in Telegram when I'm done, but I am using daffodil yellow, blue haven, lipstick red, and a blue paint pen. I do not, I just, why do I not have a blue paint? 10 a.m. Central. Jennifer says, yes, I make all the crafting decisions for you. I try. Sometimes I'm like, well, you're going to have to decide if you want to use the same color I did, you know. But the general, like this month on the coffee tray, I said, look, the blue, if you have the coffee tray, you can change that out for another accent color. I said, so Jimmy said your daughter used a basketball and she's doing great as an adult. She's 45. That's awesome, Jimmy. That's awesome. You know what? Look, being a parent is hard, and every parent can relate to that feeling of like, if your kid is neurotypical or neurodiverse, right? You can relate to that feeling of like the sadness you feel when you feel like that they're missing something, or they've lost out on something, or they're not able to do something they want to. But when you have a kid with special needs and you watch that every single day, and almost every day there's something where, you know, they're frustrated because they're trying to do something they can't, or they feel like they fail because they're unable, or they're aware of the fact that other people can do something and they can't. And you learn to live with that heartache. Sorry, I didn't know I was going to go there. But you learn to live with it every day, you know? And it's hard. But I know who I was before I had Nate, and I know who I am now. And while I am a very driven type A, accomplishment driven type of person, I also have the ability to sit with people who are in a lot of pain, and I can stand it because I know what it's like to be in a lot of pain. You know, it is not easy. But I will tell you, there is no greater joy than when you see your kid who struggles accomplish something really big, and you know that God gave you a job and you have done it well because they are able to go do what they're supposed to do, you know? And so, yeah, all of you guys who have kids with special needs, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, because it is no joke. It is no joke. We're going to clean our area up a little bit. Oh, yeah. And you just take all of the other stuff where all of the people, where you have people who maybe don't get it and people who behave ugly and all the things. And you go back to, I know, right? I know that I may not have lived up to these people's expectations, but I know I did what I was supposed to do because I showed up for my kid and I did what I thought God would want me to do for him. And that's all that matters, right? So I know you guys know and those of you guys that have family members of kids with special needs, and they're probably like during the holidays, send them a DoorDash gift card because they are exhausted. Send them a DoorDash gift card and tell them to order dinner, like, I mean, that's really, they just need they need some reprieve. They need a break from all of the work of the day. So this is Duraclear. This is the matte varnish. I'm using matte because I love the matte. I love the satin too. I'm almost out of satin, so I'm going to use matte. And we are going to just seal these. And I'm going to seal, I just sealed only the front of this. And I'm going to seal the front and the back of these, okay? Yeah, it's all that matters. Linda said when you taught, you'd tell your boys you needed 15 minutes of alone time and you go into your room and take some downtime. Yeah. Like when I taught elementary school, it was too much for me because I'd be like, I come home, we didn't have kids yet. I tell Joe, don't talk to me for an hour. You could ask Joe because I just needed a break from all the noise. Kim says Joe and I are awesome parents. Well, so I think too, and I always try and tell people, Kim, because you're so compassionate and you just would do, I know Kim is like the heart of her family. Like I've watched her for a year now show up for her family and love on them and be part of them. She is like, okay, this dries really quickly, so this is just about dry. I'm gonna flip it over. I'm gonna dry it first, but Joe and I are also our older parents. So I was 36 when Nate was born, and Joe was 48, and so we were older and we were more established in our careers at the time when we had Nate. And I also had an education background, and I'd also worked in 2 different places for kids that specifically had special needs. I worked at the Childhood League in Columbus, which is a preschool for kids that have special needs. And I worked at St. Vincent's Children's Center, which was more of a place for kids that had, they had a variety of special needs, but they also had different mental disorders. And so we both, I think because we were older, because we were not struggling financially, not that we were rolling in it. I mean, there were years when just like I shopped at the thrift store and we paid medical bills, like that was it. But at least we weren't having to make a decision between food and medical bills. You know what I mean? And therapy bills. And so we have, and because we were older and we had different life experiences, I think it was easier for us to, I just think it's been easier for us to step into that role. I'm not saying that young parents don't, but I think sometimes young parents struggle more and they need the community more because they don't understand and they don't know what to look for. And so, like, even though Nate didn't have the autism diagnosis early on, he had all the therapies besides ABA that a kiddo would have had because he was in therapy like 8 times a week, you know. I think too, sometimes they don't like, I think sometimes parents really think, oh, they'll catch up. Like, they'll catch up. It's going to be fine. Because that's what everyone told me about Nate in the beginning. I'll be honest with you. In the beginning, everybody said I had a type A person. I'm not kidding. Everybody but one person said I had a type A personality and I was too stressed out about it and that nothing was wrong. And it was just because I was type A. I'm not kidding. There was one person who told me otherwise and said, no, you're I'm sure that they just haven't figured out what's going on. And a lot of people tell young parents, I'm not kidding, it's fine. What are you worried about? And Kim, it doesn't sound like I'm stealing these now, guys. It doesn't sound like that's the case with you guys at all. Because it's heartbreaking when I have seen a lot of kids who did not get the intervention they got. And even his teacher now says, still the fact that and I'll tell you, it is a sacrifice, like Nate's in Boy Scouts, but Joe has to go with them. Like one of us has to go on the campouts. I'm just going to cut this off the end because it's blue. I should have done the light blue first, but I was talking. But one of us has to go on the campouts with him. So Joe was gone Sunday night and Monday on the Eclipse campout because Nate wanted to go. And then Joe will be camping out with them this weekend because they have another campout. One of us has to go. It is a sacrifice. Joe goes to every Boy Scout meeting with him. I have dropped him off before and he does fine, but he doesn't always, like if they're having a camp out, Nate may not come home with all the right information about what he needs, he needs that extra level of support. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the yellow now. And so I'm actually going to move this because I see some red paint dust. I don't want to steal my red paint dust, and so it's a big sacrifice. And his teacher was telling me, she was like, the amount of stuff you put him in and you make him, participate. And now he chose to participate in Boy Scouts, but she's like, not everybody does that. And it just gives him such a great advantage, So, and if it wasn't for Joe, we couldn't do that. Because there's no way I could go and leave the other two at home by themselves. I mean, I could go if Joe wouldn't. So, but I think it's hard when I've met kids with apraxia who are, Nate's 12 years old and they can't talk because their parents weren't able to pay out of pocket for the therapy because you have to pay out of pocket for it. Like you don't get the intensive speech therapy you need through insurance with apraxia. So I know it's heartbreaking because you think, like even this morning, he's got certain things he's got to do if he wants to take his phone to school. Well, this morning he decided he wasn't doing them. And I said, guess what? You're not taking your phone. And, it's just parenting is hard. Parenting is so hard. And you have to, even when you have a kid with special needs, you cannot feel sorry for them in the moment. Feel sorry for them another time. But in the moment, you have to hold their feet to the fire and make them do the hard thing. We don't always do it perfectly. So I got some sealer, guys, down in this crack. I'm just going to pull it out. Hi, Elizabeth. You know what, Elizabeth? I realized yesterday I didn't reply to you about the bunnies. If you don't have the bunnies fixed, I have an extra one, okay? Let me know. Will you send me an email? Well, you guys are all great moms, though. Everyone on here, you guys push your kids to do, you have to make them do the hard thing, and they learn over time that, you know what, they can do it. The only way they're going to learn they can do it is if someone makes them do it. Okay, so these are all sealed. They look great. This one has a little It's not, it's just where the wood is got a little divot in it, but we're just going to leave it with it. You guys are all amazing parents. You guys all, oh, it is, you just, I think a lot of it, we were just older too. We were old enough to know. Gail says sometimes she feels stress helping with the grandkids. Yeah, because you love those grandkids, right? And you want the best for them. And Kim says it was hard. Kim said she had her 2 boys and your stepdaughters, and he traveled. And yeah, and the girl was a handful. Okay, you know what? I honestly, like, let me see. How does this go together? That's cute. I feel for, I'm glad I think I want it like that. What do you guys think? The yellow in the middle? Should the blue be in the middle? Do it however we want. I kind of feel like the blue is the darkest. Maybe it should go here. Maybe that would feel better when I look at it. Yeah, that kind of feels better. Okay, and then this one you got to figure out how to make the heart puzzle, guys. And it took me a minute, several minutes, okay? But I love this. Okay. So I'm just putting this together, and then we'll glue it, and then we'll make the charm. Okay, see how cute that is. It's not a perfect puzzle. Like, it doesn't, the pieces don't perfectly fit, but they do fit up against the heart. Okay. So Jennifer says having a 6-year-old at 47 is hard. She's tired. Girl, it requires a lot of caffeine. Let me grab my box to glue into. It's right behind this door. Oh, yeah. Some days we're like, we survived. We made it. Tony says she has a 29-year-old nephew who's mildly autistic, and he's a provider, awesome provider for his family. He went to trade school and became a welder and is doing well with making a living. He has an 8-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old son, and you are so proud of him. I love those stories, like those big success stories. You know what? And that's the thing. I said this once. I said, I don't ever know if I'm going to be that mom who holds the like sign on Facebook that like, oh, my kid got into law school or whatever. But you know what? I never thought I was going to be the mom that could say, guess what? My kid made honor roll, like in fact, when we got the email that he'd made honor roll, we were like, cause he had like a 3.56 and we emailed his teacher and we're like, hey, can you just confirm this? Like, okay, guys, I'll finish the story in just a second. I'm going to glue this first and then I'll glue these little pieces in. And I'm just going to take this Gorilla Glue spray adhesive. I'm going to put it inside this box and spray, and then I'm going to put it together. So we emailed her and we're like, can you, before we tell him, like, can you confirm that like this is accurate, because we just never thought it would happen. And she was like, oh yeah, it did. I was like, oh my gosh. And you know what? We got that sign out front. I don't know if we'll ever take it down. We'll probably get a letter from the HOA at some point, because we're not supposed to have yard signs here, but I'm not taking it down. They can find me. But yeah, so you just never know, right? You just never know. So I'm just going to push this down. That's all. And I'm going to glue these 3 pieces. I'm going to spray glue these. If you have, like a Loctite, or you could use that. Okay, so we have the dark blue at the bottom. And then we had, I'm going to work quickly. Yellow. I just want to make sure there's enough space for everything. And then the light blue. And like the thing about autism is it really is a spectrum. Like you have to take the bits and parts and pieces. I know some people like don't like the puzzle analogy of the puzzle, but you have to take the different parts and pieces and put them together because it's not the same for every single child, right? Okay, so I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to put something on top while we glue this one. It's not the same for every child. It's not the same for every family. Yeah, there's some common themes between them, but it's not always the same. Okay, how cute is this? All right, so I feel like my camera is not level. Let me turn it. Let's see. There we go. So it's you're not able to see, but do you see how like parts of this should stick out on each side? Something is not level up here because it's not projecting properly, but we'll just. Okay, I'm going to start with the red piece and get that in place. And just make sure you don't. And then we're going to get to the fun part of okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take blue. This is kind of how I know. Yeah, Dixie says any medical condition is like a puzzle piece. Yeah, because it really impacts each person differently, right? It doesn't always look exactly the same. Okay, I'm just gonna, I got a little bit of glue right there. I'm trying to get it off. Okay, so I'm gonna put this heart. Yeah. Now get the blue and make sure that we get this in here right. Okay. Let me see. I'm just moving this around to get it the way that I want it. There we go. Okay. There we go. And then this goes kind of here. Okay. Okay. Guys, if you're in the JCC, I'm going to pop in before the kids get home from school and answer some questions and just talk about the watercolor pencils. I saw there was a little bit of confusion about the watercolor pencils. It's a new supply. Someone said that they did not see it in the videos. It is in the videos. It is in the title. It is on the graphic. They were taking forever last night, but as of like today at lunch, like everything was up besides there were still a couple that were processing. So I'm just going to try and ooch this up just a little bit. Okay, and I'll put this on. So this doesn't take very long if you're not yammering on and on about things like I am. But yeah, the watercolor pencils are going to be fun. And I can't wait to use them on my main page. If you're not in the Joyful Crafting Club, I will be sharing about them here too. But one of the things that they really wanted to learn about, they wanted to learn some new techniques and tricks. So, all right. Okay. Looks good. So let's start with this. I'm going to show you how to do this first. Let me get the glue off my hands and then we'll get started. So The beads, the beads, the beads. You could paint the beads. I'm going to seal them real quickly just because you guys know I am funny this way. But yeah, I'm going to do 2 and then I'll do 2 more. So all I'm going to do to seal them is the only thing that, okay, what sealing does, it's just going to make them look better. Where's my sparkly paintbrush? It's just going to make them look, the wood grain pop, it's going to look closer to this. You could paint them if you wanted to, but I think with that, the bright colors on the ornament and then the natural wood on the ornament, the natural wood beads are going to help tie it all together because we've got bright colors on the ribbon. Okay. And this is just the same sealer that I used on the ornament itself or the card charm itself. Okay. And that's all that it takes to seal those. So I'm just going to set this here and let it dry. Let me grab one more paintbrush. But yeah, you guys are going to nerd out. Is that the right word? On the watercolor pencils. And Jennifer printed her supply list. We're very proud of her. She might get the prize of the month just for that. Actually, if her name got drawn, she would insist that I choose someone else. I'm just saying. But she does get a gold star that she actually printed the supply list. I was thinking today, though, I was like, oh, man, I need to figure out what I need to make the sign. Because I probably do not have the right paintbrushes or the right markers or any of the things. I know I don't have that white marker that you use. I know that for sure. Okay, so this is it. I let those dry. I know Jennifer should be mortified if she won. Okay, so we'll look at a couple different ways to do this bow. This is what makes it fun. I mean, you can leave it like this and just tie string on top, but we're going to add the ribbon. It's sealed. It's protected. It looks great on both sides. So I have a long piece of jute in here, 24 inches, which is too long for an ornament. But it is probably just the right length for card charm because you're going to want to tie it up above your rear view mirror. And depending on your rear view mirror, you may not be able to slip it around. Yes, Colleen, and there's also tutorials in the JCC that show you how to do all the beads. But that's how I do those. There's so we're gonna push this through the back. There's a reason I push it through the back is because it looks better with the loop like this and it hangs better. Okay, so here's one way to do this. So we're gonna pull this up. We're going to take our ribbon and we're going to make an awareness ribbon, okay? And then we're going to pinch it. And this is our bow, okay? Now, I want you to be mindful of your ends. You want them to be longer. You can trim them, okay? Or you can cut them at an angle, but you just make sure that your loops are the same length. Now you're going to pinch it, open this up a little bit, okay? Push it through this loop. Hold it in place while you're pinching and pull. You want to make sure you get in the middle. And that's one way to add your ribbon. Now when you add the ribbon here, like this, it's going to cover some of that heart. So that's one way you can do it. Let me show you the other way. All right, so this is one way. It's sitting right on top. Jimmy has watercolor pencils. Linda was able to get all of her paint colors for this month with no problem. Okay. I know. I mean, I feel like I must hit the jackpot. As long as there's not a riot over the watercolor pencils, we will be good. Okay, so there's that one. And then there's this one where we're going to take it. We're going to let it hang. And I'm just trying to think if I should slip knot it here or do the other thing and then slip knot it. Let's do what we just did. Okay. We're going to go back through the front again and pull it through. And we're going to make this little knot. Okay. And now we're going to make what is called a slip knot. This is just what we do on the bead garlands if you're in the JCC. Okay. Hold this straight. And we're going to hold one piece straight with your fingers, or if you want, you could always tape it down, but then you're going to have to lift this up. Okay. So you're going to go around, okay. And then up through, and you're going to pull this down on top of but before you do that, you're going to slide your ribbon through. Okay. So now we have our ribbon. It's pinched down, and then we're going to slide this knot down as close as we can. This way is a little trickier because you've got to get this slip knot down, but it lets your bow sit up a little higher. Gail says, is there a tutorial? So that's one of the things we're doing in the Joyful Crafting Club. There has been all of this talk. If there's a riot about the watercolor pencils, I'm blaming Jennifer Radin. Because there's been all this talk about shading the little pieces. Well, yes, it is possible to shade those little pieces, but some of them are as big as the end of my finger. And if we want to add details to them, the watercolor pencils are like my easy way for adding details. So there you go, guys. There's your other one. And if you want it to be a little tighter, you can just tighten up your slip knot a little bit. It just depends. You can also, well, all of you double dippers who are dipping, and you're in my group and her group, and then you're like, oh, well, let's shade the little pieces. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to be responsible for teaching how to shade these tiny pieces. One, I'm not great at it. And two, it just gets really hard when you're trying to shade a small, that's the size of a nickel, And so the watercolor pencils are I'm going to show you how to do that this month. Okay. So this is option 2. She did it. Yes, the first way is easier. This just makes it sit a little higher, okay? And then you just slide your beads down on top. Let me grab my fabric scissors. I moved them over here because we were cutting ribbon today. And Susie's always like, Amy, I can never find the fabric scissors. And I'm like, well, I mean, okay. So, and then you can do what you want with these. I'm going to fishtail this. I'm going to fold it in half. So it's a lot. Okay. The tray this month is a lot of fun. The tutorials are longer than normal, but you guys are going to just love, you're really going to have a lot of fun. Okay. So I folded this in half, and you're going to go, when you fishtail, you're going to go from the folded side out to the end at a 45-degree angle. Okay. Make sure you have good sharp scissors. See how cute that is? So cute. And then and then we'll put the 2 beads on top. I cannot wait. I'm going to hang one in my car. I don't have one up yet. I have a couple more over there that I'm working on. And so you did ask to learn 2 new techniques. Yes. Okay. Ready? And cut. Now you don't have to do it. It's going to look great if you don't do it. This is just going to wait till you see it. You go in and look at the pictures and you see it's going to be. So here's one. And then of course you can take your bow, poof it out a little bit so it doesn't look so smushed. See how cute this is? And that's all you're going to do to add this bow. And you can do this on your ornaments at Christmas time too, guys. I used to do this when I sold on Etsy. And we are still having, those of you who are like, you want to talk about how to sell your stuff. We're still going to do that. I've just been waiting for a time when I had I could say ahead of time, hey, I will absolutely be available and we're going to do it at this time or that time, right? Make sure that my giveaway tool is running. Okay, good. Yeah, we're still running. So, I know. Just be careful what you put on the end of your form, JC Sears, when you tell me. Just be careful what you drop in there and say you want to do. So you're like, well, we want to learn new things. The shading. And remember, there were a lot of comments about the sunflower tray was fun because we got to shade the little flowers. That was fun for us. I got a lot of comments about this. Charlotte says she loves the whole thing. Yay. Jessica says she caught me at the end. Your nephew is autistic, so this is special. And he just turned 11. Aw. Here we go. This is the second one. So this is April's Autism Awareness Month. I want to address some of those comments in a second, but since Jessica brought this up, so this month I have these kits in my shop. They're $12 each. You get the wood cutout, you get the ribbon, you get the beads, the yarn needle, and the jute, and it's all wrapped really cute. Susie has done a great job wrapping them. They look adorable. And we're donating $2 from every ornament to the Autism Society of Central Ohio. And then Joe and I are going to match that. So if we sell 50 and we have $100 to donate, then Joe and I will match that with $100 and we'll donate 2. If we sell 200, then we would have $400, and then Joe and I would match $400, and we would get to give them $1,000 or $800. So the Autism Society of Central Ohio does a lot of good stuff for families that have autism in Ohio. So here's one. Okay, let's do our puzzle piece. So it just will give me a way to spread awareness and give back. Now, if I would have sealed this with the satin, it would be a little shinier. This is the matte sealer. So you can tell the difference. It still looks great. It's still finished. The satin is just a little bit shinier. So it gives us a way to give back. We are, there are people, we're farther along on the journey. And so it's really nice for us to be able to give back. And there's people who, who have kiddos who need more support than Nate does, and they're going to, it's a lot. Nate needs a lot of support, but there are families that need more. Okay, let's talk through the ribbon again, guys. We're going to make an awareness ribbon. So I shoved through the back and then up through the front. Always on your ornaments, this is personal preference. I take the loop and go through the back. I think it looks better than if you go through the front. This looks a whole lot better on an ornament than I have very particular opinions about a lot of things. One of them is look, guys, see this? Now let's go through the front. It just doesn't look as nice because it pulls the string another way. See, that does not look as good. That's why we go through the front with a loop. Also, trim your tassels when you make a bead garland. I'm very particular about that. Do not put it on there without trimming it and giving it a nice blunt end. So through the back, so you go through the front to the back and then pull the back loop up and around. And this looks just so much nicer. Okay. It's all in the details. And trim your ribbons. Always trim your ribbon ends. Trim them bluntly, trim them at an angle, fishtail them, do something, but trim them. Okay. So we've got our awareness ribbon. We're going to put this bow on here. We're going to make a bow. We're going to take it and pull it down now, and we're going to pinch it. Okay. And when we pinch it, we're going to look to see that our ends are about the same length. Our bows are about the same size. We can always fix it. Pop through, and we're going to put it down and hold it with one finger while we pull this tight with the other. All right. And this is going to hold it in place. Now, if you want, your beads are going to come down and hold it in place. I'm going to mess with this ribbon for a second. I'm going to pull these down. I'm going to pull these out. Okay, so this, well, it's not behaving now, is here. Okay. I was planning on going live in the Joyful Crafting Club, guys, to talk about the watercolor pencils anyway. I just figured, though, after I saw some people confused about it, I would go today, just since people are getting their boxes. So it's heavy enough to hang and keep this ribbon in place, right? And then we're going to put our beads on, trim our ends, and then we have two finished ornaments. So we're excited about. Oh, look, my box is going to get their first Juanita. Juanita is going to get, I love it. I love that you're getting it. Not that I'm before Jennifer, but because, before Jennifer's box, but because sometimes yours just seems to take a while. Okay, so, and Tammy got hers really fast this month too. Okay, so I'm gonna fishtail this again. So fold it in half. We're gonna go 45-degree angle from middle. Just trimming the end. I got a nice end there. It's really cute. The kit is $12, Elizabeth. They're $12. They're in the shop. I'm going to keep them. We have a release Friday. I will keep these stocked all month long. I might have to do some fancy dances to get the ribbon, but I will keep it stocked all month long. We want to spread awareness and bless people with these as much as we can. And I'm hoping to make some more and give them away to people so that they can give them to somebody they know and love who has autism. Now, normally, if I was making an ornament, guys, I would, let me take the overhead camera off. I would tie this here, but since it could be a card charm or an ornament, I'm going to leave it like this so that if it's used as a card charm, they can go ahead and tie it in place. But how cute is that? I did not add the releases to the calendar. I have one this Friday. It's just, I have, I'm a little behind. I have a new VA who is helping me. And once we get her fully onboarded, things should be smoother. But right now she's doing a couple other things and getting some things in place for me. And then we're going to have, but I have one this Friday. I need to post the calendar. Thank you for reminding me. And I have one 2 weeks from now. And we may or may not have something that starts with a G and ends with an E in the release because Joe shamed me about them. He was like, oh, those are the cutest things I've ever seen in my life. Those are magical. No wonder everyone loves that tray. I cannot believe you're not cutting anymore. And I was like, Joe Green. Okay, so these are the two ornaments we made today, guys. We learned how to paint, how to seal. We learned how to add natural wood elements in. I mean, do you see how pretty? If we would have painted the beads, it would have been too much, right? We have a lot of color in these. We use the natural wood so that this does not feel overwhelming. The background doesn't feel overwhelming, so that the colors are really the things that shine. And then instead of painting the beads, we sealed them and kept them natural to tie the whole thing together. Painted beads would have been way too much. We learned a couple different ways to tie a bow on an ornament. So this is a lot of fun. These are a lot of fun. They look perfect with the sealed beads. Okay, so there's a couple things I want to go back and answer questions. I'm going to hold one while we're talking just because they're so cute. I'm so happy. You guys, I love Christmas. I almost want to start a Christmas crafting club. Because I would craft Christmas and ornaments all year long. But I'm going to hold this right here while I go back. I had a couple questions too. Okay. I want to make sure. Okay, the business talk. Oh, Jimmy's box just came. That's so exciting. Yes, we're going to have a business talk. Jennifer mentioned she and I doing one together. That would be fun because we have different experience and similar experiences. And I have background in some other businesses that Jennifer doesn't, and Jennifer has background in businesses that I don't. That would be a lot of fun. So look, she said we should do a workshop on selling your stuff, and you were thinking about doing a lesson in your group. Yeah, that would be Jennifer, that would be something you and I could do together and put together and really help some people between the two of us. Yes. The kit is $12. The autism awareness kits are the spring event. Tony says, when is the spring event that's coming up? May, Jennifer and I are doing an event. So the end of this month, guys, I'm going to do tiered tray week. Let's just do a few announcements before we wrap up. I'm going to be doing tiered tray week towards the end of the month. Look for dates, but we're going to be talking more about different types of tiered trays, how to use tiered trays, painting tiered tray signs, and displaying and using tiered trays in your home. So the end of this month is going to be tiered tray week over here at Amy and Art Designs. And so look for more information on that. Jennifer, is it the 18th, the 19th, something around there in May? Jennifer and I are going to be doing like a nighttime or sometime. I don't remember what time we said we're going to do it, but we're doing a painting event where I'm going to be painting a tray and she's going to be painting a sign, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be like matching. So like my tray and her sign are going to match, coordinate, and it is so fun. We can't wait to share it with you guys. So if that's the event you're talking about, Tony, let me know. That's the only, because Spring Jingle and Mingle's over. So it's the only one I can think about. Oh, Christina said she'd do Christmas. You guys are up for the Christmas crafting. That would be fun. Even if it was like not necessarily a kit, but it was more like I teach you, and maybe there's an option, or you can go buy it at the Dollar Tree or at Michael's or whatever. Yes. Gail says she's been in business for crafting for 9 years and she would love new ideas. We would love to share them with you. Okay. Sounds like fun. Okay. So there's that. So lots of fun stuff going on. JCC, I'll probably take a quick potty break and then I'll come back and I'm going to jump in the group and just chat about the watercolor pencils for 10 minutes or so. And I think that's all I've got. Okay. So let's draw a couple names. We will be sharing these with some friends. Here we go. Can you guys see that? Number 1. Dixie. Okay. So winner number 1, Dixie. Dixie, if you have someone in your life, let me know that you could gift one of these two. Let me know, because if not, I will gift you something else and we'll gift this away another time. Okay. So did you win recently on something else? I don't remember, but this is random. So, I mean, let's pick another one and let's do it again. Here we go. Totally random. I don't know why they put my name up there. Christina. Okay. So we've got 2 friends today. Guys, message me and let me know if you want one of these to gift to someone in your life, or if you want a different Happy Meal. Because if you don't have someone with autism in your life, we will gift this to someone else. So, okay. All right, friends. I'm going to take this off. thank you for being here and crafting with me today, guys. It's been so much fun spending time with you. It is Wednesday. The week feels off because of the eclipse, but it's Wednesday. So I will see you guys Monday for crafting at 2:30 if I don't see you before then. Okay, Dixie doesn't have anyone, so I will send you regular happy mail. Let's pick a third person while we're here. You know what? I'll do it another time. We'll give another one away later because I have 2 more to give away. So you guys keep crafting and spreading joy in the world through the beautiful things you make because the world needs your creativity. I'm Amy Green with Amy and Art Designs, and I will see y'all Monday. Mwah.